everybody. Welcome to another episode, Squad Creators Podcast, episode number 70.
Yes, sir. Big 70.
And this one's a little different. Y'all know our guest here is Marcella, Marcella's Way, but this ain't Marcella's Way. This ain't the T-shirt lady. We bought the Cake Lady today. We talking business. We just stepped it up. We want to know what happened before the T-shirts. So, Miss Cake Lady, would you go on and introduce yourself, please?
Well, I'm Marcella Ritchie, and I am the former owner of Peach Angel Cakes, turned into Caking It with Marcella.
Caking It with Marcella. So this dude up here, he forgot his name. That's Mike Tees. I'm gonna introduce him. You know, that's the other half right there. You know. So I'm gonna just get to it, man. So Marcella, what got you into the cake business initially?
Initially I got in because it was kind of crazy because I think I was 17 and I was working in a grocery store. And while I was working in the grocery store, I was cashiering, and I was coming up on my 18th birthday, and the bakery manager knew my godmother. And so my godmom pulled some strings for me to work in the bakery. And so I was a closer. They was called closers. So I was a closer, and basically all you did was bag bread, mop the floor, clean up, whatever, and that's all you did. But the cake decorators would be there as soon as I got to work. So I would just kind of be like, you know, watching them and seeing like what they had going on or whatever, just, you know, watching attentively, but not really. So when it was coming up on my daughter, well, she's 20 now, my daughter's first birthday. And I was a single mom. I didn't have a whole lot of money at the time. I think the cake was gonna be like $30 or something. Like that was a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I ended up I was gonna take a Michael's class. And the way my mind worked is like, I'm not about to spend $30 or however much on a Michael's class, and I got all the stuff right here. Right. So when the cake decorators would leave and the manager would leave, I would pull all the stuff out. I pulled the cake from off the sales floor and just kept messing with the cake I was messing with until it looked similar to that one. And then I would clean up the mess, put the cake to the side, and then a few days after I had done that every day, the manager came to me, and I thought I was going to be in trouble for messing with their stuff. She was like, are you doing those cakes that's over there on the shelf? And I was like, yes. And she was like, well, if you want to, you can do some more for the case. And and then after that, I think 2 weeks after that, she had said something to the store director, and they gave me my baker's whites, which in the store I was at, to get your baker's whites was a big deal. So I got my baker's whites and like a 30-cent raise in 2 weeks of doing that.
Wow.
Yep.
So how many hours you were spending time every night? How many hours were you putting in on them? I
was probably doing it about maybe an hour. I didn't have very much time because I was a part-time cake decorator. So I wasn't taking much time, maybe about an hour just to do one cake. And what happened was I kind of got a speed up in my learning process because it was probably about 3 months, and then we had to close that store and go to a whole nother store. And when we went to that store, it was a grand opening. So our business increased like dramatically. And it was like a sink or swim type thing. You better learn how to decorate fast, or you about to be, look, you ain't gonna have no hours. So that sped up me learning how to work fast. But then once we got to that store and I got faster, people start coming in and asking, can you do a cake the shape of this? Like this, I think this one lady came in and asked, could I do a cake the shape of a bassinet? So then I start like processing in my mind, like, how does a bassinet look? Like, so I'm thinking it looks like a half circle, but halved. And then it was a rectangle. So I kind of just put these shapes together and did some piping on it, and it looked like an actual bassinet. So that was the beginning of me actually doing 3D cakes.
Yeah, that's dope. Let's show the people some of them
Okay.
little slideshow I put together.
Oh, that was dope.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna get to that Nike because you know we all like Nike. So first of all, what kind of cake was that? What was on the inside of that cake?
It was just a vanilla cake. That was for a friend of mine's son's 16th birthday, and he was just like a foam posit fanatic.
Yeah.
And that cake, literally, I was like threading the shoestrings. The shoestrings was out of fondant, and I was like had to thread the shoestrings because I wanted it to look as much like a shoe as possible. You know, actually make it look like it was sitting on the box opposed to a part of the box. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that took some work, and it didn't really, the picture didn't do it much justice because the blue part looked like patent leather.
Oh shit. Yeah, that is dope.
Oh.
So now I want some cake. The purse was another.
Yeah, that was
dope one.
Now let me give you a little backstory on the purse cake. So the purse cake I did for I think the purse cake was the one I did for a family friend. Well, anyway, I did it for somebody, and this girl, and traveling with the cake is a art.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
It is an art, and some people be too cheap to pay for delivery. They want to do it themselves, and they think that they could just hold it in a box. It's gonna be that cake right there. Didn't even make it to the lady's house.
Oh wow!
That's the one you was telling us about. Oh
no, you talking about the one that fell over behind the table?
Yeah.
That ain't that one.
Oh,
that ain't that one. This one, that one, I was the one that fell behind the table. That was my fault. That purse cake, that was the lady's fault. She did that.
Oh my gosh.
So I must tell you this part right here. I would have been eating that cake.
No, sorry.
We would have been. Those cakes are not cheap.
I know. That's what I'm saying. We would have been eating that cake all the way to just above the floor.
Let me tell you, 2 second rule.
Yeah. So for y'all people that don't know, this is her channel.
Thank
you. This is the t-shirt channel. This is but I put this ain't we don't have a t-shirt lady here right now though.
No.
Correct. Channel, y'all go tap in. But we got the cake lady. This lady don't do shirts yet.
This lady don't know nothing about no shirts.
Not at all.
How much did you charge for that purse cake? Just a rough.
To be honest with you, I can't even really remember because to be honest with you, that cake was pre-business. I hadn't even had my shop yet. That was out of my house. So to be honest with you, those prices was probably way lower than they should have been. But that cake might have been like $150 or something.
Yeah. See, look, man, I ain't never met a cake I want to pay that much money for.
You would be
never met a cake.
You'd be surprised. You will be surprised. People will pay some money.
Them shows like that, and my cousin, she does them cakes and different stuff. Like my cousin made a stripper booty cake one time. It was just the funniest shit. It was just a stripper booty in a phone for somebody. Like,
Shout out to everybody that's joining us tonight.
What's up, y'all?
Yeah, man.
Coffee Power Home, Educated Natural, South Bay.
What's up, y'all? What's up?
Craftable Things. What's going on? Big Boy Prince, what's happening?
Best unit.
Big boy been doing that game night over there.
Mm-hmm.
Still waiting on my invite, Big Boy. I want to come play. I like games. Who else we got? So
Connie Hard.
Hey, how you doing?
Erica Sinclair.
I didn't see her. Marcella, so what's the typical time in making a cake, one of those cakes like that?
Sheesh. So I didn't even send you guys this one picture of this cake. This was actually one of the most this was higher up in the prices. This cake I did in the shop, and this was a wedding cake. It was a 4-tier wedding cake, hexagon, and it had peacock feathers going from the top all the way to the bottom. But the peacock feathers were all sugar. I had to make every peacock feather, and it was a male and a female. It was a male and female peacock coming from the top, cascading down the front.
Wow.
And that cake within itself probably took me like all week, probably 6 to 7 hours a day to do, because it's a process. You have to let things dry. You got to let them harden, and then I had to paint a color, let it dry, paint another color, let it dry.
What are you painting with?
It's called luster dust. So luster dust is like a form of sugar, but it's like different. It's like glitter ones, iridescent. Like luster dust is like our glitter vinyl. It's
so what does it taste like?
Not even like sugar. It don't really have much of a taste. It kind of blends into the item that it's on. So if it's on sugar and you paint it up there, it's gonna take the taste of the sugar. Yeah.
So you said 6 or 7 hours for a week?
A day for a week. So it's probably ended up being like maybe 30 something hours in total.
So how much a 30-hour cake costs?
That cake ended up being almost $800 if it didn't get to 800.
Yeah.
It was about $800. Yeah, that was one of the highest ones. I think I had another one that was going towards like 900. I think that was the highest one that I did, like 900.
Oh, that's a part-time job, 30 hours.
Yes, yeah, but I mean, and so it would explain why they cost so much, because mind you, the elements that went into it was what the 30 hours was. That didn't include cleanup time, that didn't include baking, that didn't include assembly, that didn't include delivery, that didn't include none of that, you know.
So I want to know about assembly. So a 4-tier cake. I've watched them shows, but can you explain kind of how you get that stable?
Yeah. So, okay. Well, remember the situation about the table, the cake being behind the table? Yeah. Well, that taught me the importance of structure. And if you think about it, it's almost like a house. Like, it's a lot of weight that goes into holding a whole top floor onto a bottom floor. It's beams that have to support that weight. And so you have to kind of take into consideration that if I got a cake on the bottom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The other cake that's here, I need to make sure that not only the outer edge of the cake is supported with wooden dowels. So I'm using wooden dowels, or you can use plastic poly dowels. Some people use bubble tea straws.
Yes.
Yeah. So but I personally used wooden dowels because it was more support to me, and I used to cut them with I think they pruning cutters. Yeah, that cut like trim bushes and stuff, just so I could get an even cut on it, because the structure is very important. So if you think about it, if I got like an 8-inch cake, if I got like a 10-inch cake and I got an 8-inch cake on top, I probably got about 8 to 10 of them wooden dowels leveled off. I'm talking about perfect. They have to be perfectly leveled off, or the cake gonna be like this, or it's gonna tilt in the back. It has to be the structure. In order for things to sit properly, it is important to have that structure on each layer. And then what I used to do is use a center support dowel, which is the wood thing. The support dowel is like a pencil on the end that's like sharp, and you got to stab it down all the way through the middle of the cake, and that keeps the cake from swaying.
So with that, like, it seems like
construction in it.
It seemed like the cake would break sometimes. Did you ever was that ever a problem?
No, because see, some people that do cakes don't realize that the texture of the cake has a lot to do with stuff. How, like, to be honest with you, as a professional cake decorator, you never catch me pulling cake out of the oven and decorating it.
Yeah,
like it's a cooling process that has to happen, so the cake is solid, firm together before you start stacking and building any of that. And I have seen people pull a cake out the oven and then let it cool for a few minutes and go. Like, for me, when I'm decorating a cake that is has to be stacked or shaped or anything, I'm dealing with frozen cake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that was the bag that be refrigerated or something. So I want to go back to like that cake. You said you put the dowels in for each layer, or is it so I got a 4-tier cake, right? So do I just use 4 long dowels, or each layer?
No. So one layer got 10 dowels. 10. Another layer, but the dowel is the height of the cake.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a 4-inch dowel, because the standard height of a regular size cake is 4 inches tall. So we're talking about 8 4-inch dowels on this one. Then the next one is going to have, so say 10 4-inch dowels on this one, 8 4-inch dowels on the next one, 6 4-inch dowels on the next one, and then 2 support dowels down the middle.
All them dowels, it seems like it ain't going to be much cake. Hell.
No, because the dowel is skinny. It's real skinny, like really skinny. Yeah, but it's still wood.
And so
when you was delivering these, did you cut these cakes for the people, or is there an extra charge fee for that?
There is an extra serving charge if you're gonna do all that, because that basically means that if I come to your event and you want me to stay and serve it, now we're talking about additional time that I got to take out of my day, that I could be delivering another cake, I could be doing any of that. I could be like, it got to a point where I had to realize like how valuable my time is. I had to account for everything.
Yeah.
Shopping for the stuff that I needed to shop for, all that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now you was talking about transportation as well, and so I've seen it a few times. I'm sure everybody else has on TV, where they're using a cart Could you explain to us that process?
Okay. Well, most of the time, you have to realize that when you're talking about cake people like Buddy from Cake Boss or Duff from Charm City Cakes, we're talking about big productions. So we're talking about people who literally have a loading dock for cake. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So the carts are usually used, like I had a cart that I would use to transport a already boxed up cake to the car. You get what I'm saying? So it's just to keep because one thing you got to understand is when you're holding a cake, every step you take, you're shaking the cake.
Right.
Yeah.
With it being on the cart, although it's still moving, you still got a little bit more control over it. It's a little bit more stable than you actually taking steps. You get what I'm saying? Yeah.
So how do you price a cake? Particularly like one of those big, the $800. How was that priced?
Well, I'll tell you this. With t-shirts, you're pricing based off of your materials mostly, and you're pricing off of the standard price for the market. You get what I'm saying? But with cakes, the majority of the pricing is your time. Because only about, you don't want to even really go over 30% of what 30% of what the cake costs for ingredients. The rest of that is mostly just labor. So it definitely, and the market has a it's the same way with t-shirts. It has a, you don't want to just be like, I'm gonna do $100 cake for $10. You get what I'm saying? It has a say, but at the same time, it definitely depends on what your skill level is. You can have two people doing a cake, right?
Yeah.
It could be the same exact cake. If this person is doing the cake and their skill level is not that high, and the cake doesn't look that good, nobody's paying $150 for a wonky looking cake.
Right.
But then you have another person who has the same exact cake, but it's clean, good quality, colors are good, the board is good, the packaging is good, and that person could get $150 to $250 on it easy.
So what would $150 cake look like? Listen, I'm like, I love, I'm a fat kid. I love cake.
Right.
I look at that, that's a deal.
Right. $150 cake, to be honest with you, they got, okay, so I will tell you this. They got something called double barrel cakes now, right? So basically it's like 6 or 7 layers of cake, but it's decorated all the way around. Those go for $100, no less than $100, and this is a single layer cake. Ain't no stacking or nothing. It's just called a double barrel cake. So I mean, the market is different now. People pay for perceived value when you talk about cakes. So if somebody perceives it as valuable, they don't care what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's $500, good, okay. Matter of fact, I heard that Jermaine Dupri bought Janet Jackson a $8,000 cake before.
Man, I don't even know what the hell that would look like.
What the world was it?
It was stacked. It was stacked Louis Vuitton luggage, but it was all cake.
That cake, $8,000 cake, that thing came, that fork paid you. I can sit back and eat cake. Ain't no,
It shows the money that's in it though.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like $8,000. Good Lord, I can buy 2 cars and gas for $8,000. Hell.
I wanted to disclose a piece of information that I didn't give you guys beforehand, but I think it'll be a fun piece to add in. I actually was in a professional cake decorating contest twice.
Where?
And I won here in Virginia.
Was it televised?
No, it was actually called the Cake Decorators of Tidewater showcase. And I actually won 5 awards. So between those two shows, I won 5 awards.
Wow.
What were the awards?
Let's see. I had one of them was I did a small Michael Jackson cake topper. So I won. Yeah, it was a cake topper that was made of sugar that was Michael Jackson. Wow. And then I did another one that was a 3-tier cake that was called Stock Market Crash. And so basically it was 3 different tiers, and it was basically a story that told from a man having a job and being like on top of the world, and all the way to the, like, each layer had his story. So the first layer, he had a job, everything was cool. The second one, he got evicted. So it was his dog. He was in his apartment. It was eviction notice on it. And then the bottom one, he was sleeping on a piece of newspaper. And so it's basically telling the whole story of this man.
I would love to have seen that. That's crazy. And Econo Transfer Company said, anyone else here really craving a slice of cake?
Yes. Really bad.
Hey, James.
I could taste the icing. Was it butter?
Like, just let me just,
Hey, can you tell us a secret though to that icing? I need, how many ingredients go into that buttercream?
See.
3.
Just 3?
It depends because it's butter.
Okay.
It's powdered sugar, and it's milk.
Whole milk, condensed
and
milk?
Vanilla. So that's 4. It's 4.
Huh.
Sweet condensed milk, whole milk.
But it's just regular milk. But mind you, that's just a very bare basic. I mean, there's different types. There is meringue, buttercream, and it's different ones. But that's the very bare basic. And sometimes some people use, instead of butter, they use shortening. But that's to get it white instead of yellow.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep.
So I want to know about creation. Like, so I come in there, I need a heat press on the top of my cake, and then on one layer, and then on the bottom I want t-shirts. And like, so come up with the idea. So how would you create like the heat press on a cake?
Okay, so one thing that I definitely like to say about myself when I was doing cakes was I was good at like pulling stuff out of people, because a lot of times people come to you and they don't know what the heck they want. And I was also good at kind of like creating those type of things. So for a heat press, that would be, I would probably more than likely use gum paste, which is it's a form of sugar, but it get like really hard, but it starts off soft. You can either use gum paste, you can either use fondant that has something called I can't even remember the name of the stuff. It's the stuff that goes in Tylose. It got Tylose powder in it. So that basically makes it so you can use the fondant.
Let me stop you for a second. What is Tylose powder before you explain how to use it?
Yeah, Tylose powder is basically this powder that you put inside of the fondant, and it make it really hard after it dry.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about like you can tap the table with it. It's hard.
Oh yeah.
So although a lot of things on the cake, although it's edible, it's not practical, functional, edible. It's edible, but you don't want to eat it. Nobody wants to bite into something that's that hard.
It's just pretty.
Yeah. So if you look at the heat press that's behind you, what I would do is I would start off by making the 2 plates first. So I would roll out fondant and I would use square cutters to cut out the 2 squares right there. And then the arm, the back piece, and the if you guys see, I'm basically
you
breaking
visualize
up the heat press right now, because that's what you have to do with everything. You have to break it into little pieces. So that flat plate on the bottom and the arm.
That sound right about now too. Sure do. With a piece of chicken.
Right. But yeah, so basically I would just do what I just said with that, and then as far as the t-shirts, I would just probably make a template or something, or just carve it out by hand.
Wow.
So do you draw? I would have to think you have to be able to draw to create this. How do you get your? What are you making your models?
I'm a sculptor, not necessarily a drawer.
Oh, okay.
So you just, what do you do? Look at a picture or something? And
yeah, I from my days in the grocery store, my ability to transfer something that I see is just like, is really good. Like I can see a picture of something and duplicate it really well.
So see, that's a transferable skill. You can go get you Play-Doh with some, and you know, we used to do in school, go get some Play-Doh and mold it up and put it in the oven, and then here come Etsy.
Yeah, and that is very true. But a lot of people on Etsy, they selling, I'm talking about a lot of stuff. And there's something that I learned on my way out of the door of doing cakes. The silhouette can actually cut fondant. You can put a piece of fondant in your silhouette and it will cut shapes out in it. And you can just pull the pieces off.
Really?
Yeah, Cameo is meant to be.
Right.
So that, but I know that also that Cricut, man. I'm gonna give Cricut, shout out to Cricut. Cricut has like a cake machine or something like that to make stuff for the cake, right? To make stuff for cakes or something. I saw somewhere.
Yeah, I
can't
really think of what that would be, but yeah, I don't doubt it though.
So that's crazy. Like people would actually use a silhouette to cut fondant. I don't even know what fondant tastes like. I've never eaten it.
Well, I used to you know, there's the store-bought one, and then there's one that you make out of marshmallows too. The marshmallow one is really good.
That's what I want to try, because I was watching them cake shows. They was making it was looking bam.
Yeah, it's pretty good though. It has a good taste to it. It's not always very structurally sound. I mean, because it's very stretchy.
Listen, here they go. Here they go.
What you do? What happened?
Here they go. Look.
Oh, what up, Cricket crew? For real.
See, I'm telling you, they be out here banging on me about this Cricket, man.
I was like, dang, why craftable things going to sleep?
I know, man. Damn.
Am I boring her with this cake talk? She talking about you talking about the Cricket.
Yeah. So, Patrice, if we're doing something wrong, if we need to step up, please put in the comments or send me a DM on what I could do better, please. You know, we got a comment box.
And she's put Team Circuit in there too, huh?
So, right, you guys see, look, I don't talk about Cricket no more, right? I don't. I'm here. We talking about cake.
I'm just calling like I said.
But no, what I'm saying is, like, I don't talk about the Cricket anymore. And I said, shout out to the Cricket. Cricket has this, and then they start banging on me and stuff like that.
Yeah, because they know the real, bro. Come on now.
I'm sorry. Hold on, one more time.
Hashtag Team Guys, that's right.
One more thing. You said, listen. Y'all in the gym. Y'all in the gym. I'm sorry. Back to the fondant.
It's okay.
We need some marshmallow fondant. How you make that?
Let me try to go back in my mind. Okay, so I'm trying to go back in my brain. Okay, so you gotta melt the marshmallows down, but not melt them down to where they like liquid. They gotta like swell up like this.
Okay.
And then once they swell up, I used to dump it off on the table, and I used to put powdered sugar in, on top of it, basically. And then you gotta knead it. So you gotta keep like kneading it until it comes together.
Uh-huh.
But I used to put like a little small piece of actual from the store fondant in there to give it a little bit of body, so it's not so stretchy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Y'all making me go back in my mind.
Did it come pre-flavored, or did you have to flavor it, or is fondant not flavored?
It tastes like sugar, unless it's chocolate fondant. Chocolate fondant. Hey, baby's booty. Yeah, it's chocolate. Chocolate fondant got a chocolatey taste, but other than that, everything else tastes like vanilla.
You said we talking diabetic shock type stuff. I need to run from my figure goes up. Nah, stay here with us. We need these recipes.
Man, real talk.
So we've been speaking about cakes for a while, and I want to ask you a question about cupcakes. But first, I gotta run that ad real quick.
Okay.
Let's go with it. My bad, y'all. We the smallest thing with the biggest guest to do it.
Period.
I like
so
that.
Before we get started, man, I got to shout out. We got a sponsor, Vinyl Supply Unlimited, Authorized Siser Dealer, the only Metamark. They sell the only Metamark decal vinyl in the country. Get with Vinyl Supply Unlimited. Put in
Squad Creative.
You get a 10% discount off your order. Free shipping over $50.
Once again, head on over to vinylsupplyunlimited.com for all your crafting needs. Welcome back, everybody.
And in case you forgot, vinylsupplyunlimited.com is right there on the screen for you. So Marcella, I'm sorry, he had a cupcake question.
Yeah, we've been talking about cakes, and I heard one of your most expensive cakes was $800, or maybe somewhere around there.
That's a new cutlass.
A cupcake.
How much is a cupcake?
Yeah, let's say you did a order for cupcakes in the same amount in a wedding cake form. How much is that?
Do you do cupcakes, or have you ever done that?
Yeah. So when I had my shop, to be honest with you, the cupcakes was what kept my doors open. Because people buy cakes on the weekend. That's a weekend thing. Cakes have a season. So there's slow times like for cakes, and even when those slow times was happening, people were still buying cupcakes. So my recipe that I created, it literally is like, I literally would probably take that recipe to the grave with me.
I'm about to be in that inbox. I'm gonna need that cake recipe.
Listen, that's that right there. That cake recipe is, I'm talking about the most my prized possession, because I so let me give you a little backstory on that. So the cake, when I went into my business, right, I told myself, I was just like, all right, well, you going into business, so you can't be out here, because I was using modified box at home, which modified box is basically when you make box cake mix, when you use box cake mix, but instead of using water, you use milk. Instead of using like you add sour cream, you just kind of like doctor it up to where it got more structure, and it tastes more homemade, but it's still box.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, if I'm going into my own business, I need to make sure that my recipe is like A1. Like I have a scratch recipe, because you know other people out here got scratch recipes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I came up with 3 recipes. I came up with a vanilla cake recipe, a chocolate cake recipe, and a red velvet cake recipe. And so everything variated from that. So like say for instance, if I had my key lime cupcake, which was the base of it was the vanilla cake.
Mm-hmm.
My cookies and cream cupcake, what the base of it was chocolate, but it had like a cookie at the bottom, and it had whipped icing with cookies in it and all this stuff.
So you talking about language right there.
Yep. But look, y'all done messed up having me come up here talking all this shit, talking you ain't get nothing.
Hell yeah, like yeah, we should man. I wish this was live. I'm probably
right now.
Listen,
right now.
I'd be in a diabetic shock right about now.
But yeah, so I came up with these 3 recipes. The recipe itself, the ingredients isn't what made it complicated. It was the method that made it complicated, right? But the method was what made it extremely moist. It was very moist. I'm talking about the vanilla cake, literally like melt in your mouth, right? All right. So, the bad thing about that was I made this complicated recipe that nobody could figure out how to do. So couldn't nobody, even when I tried to hire people, they was messing it up. They was messing up my ingredients. I was a small business. I can't afford to be throwing a whole bunch of ingredients in the trash. So because these recipes were so good, the chocolate cake was just like A1. It was like the ingredients, everything. Because it was so good, the cupcakes was just selling so well. Like it was, I mean, people was buying them cupcakes like their mind was bad, and they had me working like my mind was bad. They did. They had me working like my mind was bad. But my claim to fame at the time was I made a cupcake after my grandma. My grandma used to make peach cobbler when we was little. And so I made a peach cobbler cupcake.
Oh, God.
And,
my cousin makes stuff like that. Oh my God. Peach cobbler. I can taste, listen, I can taste it right now.
Yeah.
Buttery, flaky. Oh my God.
Yes. So the cupcake was vanilla. It was vanilla base, but it had cinnamon in the vanilla. And it had a peach baked into the middle, and then it had a whipped cream icing on the top like a ice cream scoop, and it had cinnamon and peach drizzle on top.
See, all the fat boy in me is mad at you. Yeah. Like,
did you taste it, though? See, I'm tasting it. It's a vanilla.
Listen, I got my fork right now.
But I'm gonna tell you. So that cupcake, so at my shop for one cupcake, it was $2.79, and it was $24.99 for 12 of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but you said for the wedding cake. For a wedding cake, cupcakes, people think just because they're smaller, they're cheaper. No. With a cake, you do the job. You do all the work one time. With cupcakes, you do all the work a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, cupcakes are more expensive.
It was too, because when I remember getting married, I don't know exactly how much we paid. It wasn't no more than $300 if it was that. But we wanted a cupcake cake because it had a waterfall. They had one that had like a waterfall going through. It was extravagant, whatever, bougie. So we approached her like, "Can we get the cupcake cake?" And she was like, "Yeah, but let me show you the other cakes," because I guess she was trying to float around, not wanting to do that cake again. Yeah. And she ended up doing us a waterfall cake, and it came out looking way better. But my gosh, this right now,
So back to this peach cupcake, right?
Oh, look, he's stuck.
Right.
Hey, listen. this peach cobbler is one of my favorite things in the whole wide world.
I can tell your eyes is rolling, bro.
Listen, hey, you don't even understand. Like the baby's booty said, buttery, flaky is two of my favorite foodie words. Yum, yum, yum. You can see that I got this visual of this cupcake in my face.
Matter of fact, see when we get off of here, I'll send you a picture of the
look.
Listen, and then she just
if you want the visual, I give you the visual.
I give you the visual.
Trust me, I got one in my head right now. I got a fork and some more shit. My tongue, I can taste it on my tongue and all that. Like
you about to make me taste it on mine because listen, y'all making me want cake now. Jeez.
First I was eating it with a fork. Now I'm gonna eat it with my hand.
Oh shoot!
Biting into that piece of peach. Good Lord.
Yep.
I know y'all can see this shit out here, man. Like they got me cussing on TV and all that.
Who knew? Talking about sweets to bring this out of you.
Hey, I'm about to cry on TV about this cupcake that I ain't never tasted.
I'm gonna tell you.
We got all these flavors and all this rich stuff. So what do you do for a person that needs a gluten-free cake or maybe has diabetes and can't have as much sugar? Like,
listen. So one time, this lady got me to do,
Please don't say you make gluten-free cupcakes.
No, this lady got me to do eggless. Eggless, so it's basically completely vegan. After I did that, I was like, I don't have time for this.
So what was the texture of that? It's
not good.
Like egg make it would be the texture.
It wasn't good. It's mushy. It's very mushy, and people that like have those type of allergies, I feel bad for the fact that they can't have things like cake. But I mean, like baking is a science, and you can't really mess with that science sometimes. You get what I'm saying? Because everything does something. The egg has a purpose. The flour has a purpose. The milk has a purpose. Everything has a purpose. And you take those things away, how are you going to replace that?
Period.
True.
And
yeah.
You just can't mess up my peach cobbler cupcake.
Pass the peach cobbler already, man.
Look, I don't even eat eggs in real life, but you better have eggs in my thing, right? So
what happened to that agreement? You coming into the world?
My agreement is if I see it, taste it, or smell it, I won't eat it. You don't
taste it in cake at all.
And my thing is this, right? I'm so happy that you said you didn't make gluten-free cupcakes.
Yeah.
Because to all you people with them allergies and don't eat gluten and all that, man. So I goes to this coffee shop to get me a coffee. And they got all these pastries, coffee cakes and stuff. I'm like, you got any coffee cake? And she's like, a gluten-free one. So I'm like, cool. And I got a Denali, so with a sunroof in it, right? And it's sunny that day, or it's hot that day, so I got the sunroof open. And this is when I used to smoke cigarettes. So I smoke my cigarette and let the smoke out. And so the sunroof is still open. And I'm sipping on my coffee. I open up this coffee cake and I bite into it. I was like, I threw the coffee cake. Police, I did this, but I threw the coffee cake out the sunroof. I said, hell no. I will never eat gluten-free again. Give me my gluten.
Well, first of all, just because you had that one bad experience, don't mean they all that way. Okay. I don't per se eat gluten-free stuff, but I do know that there are some bakers out here that are very skilled at making, those specialty type of stuff. I just ain't one of them.
I don't even know what gluten is. Oh, God, I don't know what gluten is.
It's in flour.
I know I need my gluten, though.
I know I need my gluten.
I know, man. Y'all don't even understand how nasty that was.
Yeah.
I was like, ugh. You can't mess up something like that. And then now I got this peach cobbler cupcake stuck in my head. I'm so mad at you, Marcella, right now. Because peach cobbler, like when I was a child, my grandmother, I lived with my grandparents. My grandma made peach cobbler. And to this day, my grandmother died when I was 12. I just turned 46 the other day, and I can still taste that peach cobbler. It's two things that I remember. My grandma made peach cobbler, and in the summer, me and my friends go pick blackberries, and she make us blackberry pie. 30-some years later, I can still taste those tastes.
Yeah, I can too. My grandma's too. I can still taste it, and that was my way of because you know my business name was Peach Angel Cakes, and Peach Angel was my grandma because her favorite color was peach, and so the peach cobbler cupcake, it fell in there because her claim to, you know, everybody knew her for the peach cobbler. So I just turned it into a cupcake, but it was all an ode to her.
Wow, that's dope.
You did cupcakes and cakes, so is it safe to say you made cookies as well, or no, you didn't delve into that?
So I actually, in my shop, we also made funnel cakes, fried Oreos.
Deep fried Oreo with the batter. I was just looking at that. I want to try that. I saw a recipe on. Look here, look. I'm a diabetic. You messing with my That's what the Brown would say. You messing with my diabetic.
You going in depth with everything. He said deep fried.
Because I stopped her and everything. Like, hold on, deep fried Oreos. I seen the recipe the other day, and I just told my wife, like, I want to try it. I almost had her buy some Oreos when she went to the store the other day to try it. Like,
basically tell her to because we made our funnel cake mix from scratch, but it's essentially like pancake mix with the Oreo in it and fry it and put powdered sugar on it. That's basically what it is.
Oh my Lord, look here. Jesus, Marcella out there killing folk. Hey, who you telling? Listen, Eve.
I ain't out here killing folk. Look,
I'm
they
feeling
buying
like
it.
a dolphin right now. Oh, we just up here talking about cake. I feel like a dolphin. My mouth
eyes rolling, head to turn about 360 degrees. I didn't see it.
Listen, man, look. You don't even a deep fried Oreo. I ain't never tried it, but when I seen the pictures and I saw it on a video, oh my goodness.
But it's not. Once you fry it, it's almost like cake on the inside.
Yeah,
the cookie don't need crunch no more.
But when they showed it and they busted it open, it looked like heaven. Like I feel heaven with it.
And that's what it tastes like too.
I'm a sweet eater. I like sweets, but I'm a diabetic, you know. So we gotta good Lord.
So what else did you have in the shop? Good question. That's from Eve. Baby's booty.
Listen.
Cake, funnel cake.
Listen, we running them off and shit.
So essentially what I ended up doing, which that was about the gist of what was in the shop. Okay. After I shut the shop down, I ended up adding an addition to the business by I created something called Caking for the Soul.
Caking for the Soul?
It's called Caking for the Soul.
Okay.
And basically what Caking for the Soul was it was a group cake decorating. It's like paint night, but with cake decorating.
Okay.
And so basically what I used to do is teach people how to cake decorate, but it helped like self-esteem building because I did a lot of encouragement and a lot of when you're doing something like cake decorating, people, you'll be surprised. People just be like, this looks horrible. And I learned from just a lot of self-work and coming from a background of having low self-esteem, that what you say to yourself is a reflection of what people have said to you. So you'd be surprised how much you hear people when they decorating cake saying, oh, you stupid, that looks ugly, that's horrible. Like, this is all a reflection of negative self-talk. So in Caking for the Soul,
behavior.
It is. So in Caking for the Soul, it basically was like an atmosphere of just, I would have candles and low music. Everything was really relaxing. And then and in the process of everybody, you know, decorating and me teaching it, I'm doing a lot of like, you're doing a great job. That looks amazing. And you'd be surprised how people just like, you know, like enjoy being talked to nicely.
Right.
So yeah, Caking for the Soul. I did it at I did a good amount of private parties, like I was doing couples events, and then I actually got a chance to teach it or do Caking for the Soul at a college for some like elderly people, which was really nice. So I did that class a couple of times, which was really cool, because again, we're talking about older people, you know, they getting out of the house, you know. So I really enjoy doing that. That was kind of like pre-Marcella's Way, but that was my kind of intro into Marcella's Way, being able to kind of teach that way.
So how was that? How did you come up with that idea? Because that's a great idea.
I came up with that because, again, at a point, you know, I think I might have gone to a therapist like once, but to be honest with you, I've been my own therapist. And so in my process of just kind of like, I sit down, I write a lot, I write what I'm feeling. And I asked myself a question before, and I think it was, I asked myself, what are things you like to do? And I think I said, like, I like cake decorating, I like music, and I like teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And when I said those three things, Caking for the Soul popped in my head.
Oh, wow. So it was meant to be things.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, so I have times where I go through those moments where I just kind of just sit down and just write things out, help get things out of my head, and then these little things just pop up. Thank you, 757. Thank you, 755 Media. Appreciate
you. Try to say your area code, huh?
Huh?
You try to say your area code.
I was about to say, you know, I see 7.5 and 7 is coming out. Do you believe it?
So I want to touch on something you said, though, Marcella. You said therapist. You have you had a therapist?
Or? I went to therapy while I was in my shop because I went through an extremely depressive time in my shop. Like I'm not even a depressed type of person. But the first and only time I've ever been depressed was in my cake shop. It was a very difficult time for me being in that place. And I ended up going to therapy because I was thinking that was going to help, but it didn't help. It didn't help. That was just something that I needed to go through at that time. And I had to get through it how I got through it.
There you go.
Well, let me ask you one more question on that. So you said your therapy didn't help, but would you advise therapy to someone else in a different situation?
It depends on the person. It depends on the person. Some people's path in life is for them to heal themselves. Like me, I'm a person, my path in life calls for me to heal myself. So I always find myself when I need to be healed, being alone. So I can't even reach to find nobody to help me. I feel like I'm literally just alone. But you have some people who not built like that.
That's how my wife is.
Yeah. You some people not built like that. They not built for the alone thing. They need somebody to talk things through. So I would just say that before you go to therapy, you just gotta learn yourself, know yourself. Like the root of everything that comes from that, like knowing yourself. If you don't know the type of person you are, you can't even advise yourself to go to therapy. You get what I'm saying? You don't even know, whether it'll take or what, everything ain't for everybody. So I say before anything, learning who you are, studying yourself is very important.
I agree, man. That's why I'm where I am as far as mentally, emotionally, physically, for that matter, because of understanding who I am. Like I was just telling Mike this earlier today, like y'all see me, I clown, I mess around and stuff. But had I not known myself, you still see this dude I was 20 years ago. It was like I was the person that people, they love me and they hate me. They'd be like, people would be like, bring Seek, but then it was a whole bunch of people that like, don't bring him, because I was the one to say the shit that other people was thinking, and it would cause some problems. But I was smart. I was witty enough to insult a person and wrap it in a joke.
Oh, you do? You still like that? You still look? You still like? Let me tell you, one thing about Seek, you can count on you to like throw one out there.
You still like that?
Pull that thing back. Let me tell you, it's still in there just a little bit. I say that because
y'all got the watered down version.
I was about to say, I say that because that's one thing I admire about you. That's one thing, because I'm a Gemini. We witty. We're witty.
Yeah.
Geminis are very witty, quick-minded people. So when I see that in you, I admire it because I see pieces of that in myself. Like, I can kind of like, before somebody didn't even said something, you done already came out with something that just like that.
Quick draw McGraw, that's what I call him. I can't even get nothing out and quick enough.
It's already out. He didn't already said it.
And so imagine when in that time I didn't know who I was or what I was. I was insecure and all this other stuff. I was hurt just from life. And so all that stuff was negative. I didn't have I wasn't the positive person. And it took a lot of, honestly, I read a lot of self-help books. And just like, another thing that helped me was reading Buddhist books. And the reason why I say Buddhist books is not because I wanted to be a Buddhist, but I believe their philosophy is to know self.
And that's the thing. One thing about it, see, is I come from a household full of, like, my grandma was a bona fide, saved, sanctified, and filled Christian.
Yeah.
She did not play no games. And the older I get, I become further from that. However, I am extremely spiritual, but at the same time, when I look at other religions, I'm just like, Buddhism looks like it's about peace.
It is. It really is.
Hinduism is about you be good in this life, because what you do in this life will come back to you in another one. So the thing about it is, regardless of the practices, a lot of these different religions, they really speak to love, and they speak to peace and harmony.
And one thing I always say is, sorry to cut you off, but love is the key to life. People don't understand that.
Yeah, but I think the thing is, these other religions, love and peace and harmony are pushed more. Are pushed more. And so a lot of the different, at one time I was really at war with myself, because like I said, I was raised in this Christian background, and so I was feeling some type of way. Like, am I wrong? Am I doing, like, what am I doing? Maybe I'm doing, am I like not pleasing God? Like, what is the problem? Yeah. And I had read this book called The Tao of Wu.
Yeah. I read that book years ago.
Now, this book is called The Tao of Wu. It's by RZA from Wu-Tang. And he said in the book, he said something to the effect is, I'm not Christian, I'm not Buddhist, I'm not Hindu, I'm not this, I'm that, not all that. He said, but at the same time, I'm all of them. And when he said that, it really spoke to me, because it made me feel like, it's a principle. You get what I'm saying, that you taking on. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't have had to go look for the principal if the principal was where I was.
I understand that. I understand that fully.
Yeah. So
how many years did you do as a baker? Or how many years were you?
I was a baker from 18 years old till I was 32 years old. So I want to say about 15 years or so, 15 to 16 years, somewhere around that ballpark.
So with 15 to 16 years in, doesn't that almost feel like it was your calling? And the reason I'm asking is because you stepped away from it to do something else. And I know that had to have been very emotional.
Yeah. My calling is teaching. That's I'm a teacher, I'm a motivator, I'm an encourager, I feel like I got a wisdom that is beyond me. And I feel like that can be put into whatever I do.
Wow.
So I feel like in the Bible it say your gifts will make room for you. And at the time when I was doing cakes, it did make room for me because I have done cakes for some amazing people. I've met great people, and I've been able to service my community in ways that I probably never would have been able to.
Right.
But then at the same time, t-shirts have also bought me a reach that cakes never bought me. You know what I'm saying? I've been able to talk to people, come across people that was beyond, So I feel like maybe God's will for my life was to pull me out of cakes and put me in the t-shirts because he knew my reach would be further.
Wow.
So how long? So the transition from cakes to t-shirts, what was the time period?
It was about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about 2 years.
So what did you do in that 2 years?
I had a lot of processing to do because I had just shut down my business. I had a lot of resentment towards just having that business in general.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot. And even to this day, I still feel like I have some healing to do about it.
So I'm not necessarily to pry, but I'm prying.
Yeah.
So what is the feeling of resentment for the business?
Because when I was there, me and my husband were there together. We were doing that together. And there were times I felt very stuck. Like everything that we had was in the business. Neither one of us had no other job. All we had was the business. So there was times where I didn't have no choice but to work because I was the only one to work. My kids was at home, basically taking care of themselves majority of the time. They was a little older. They was taking care of themselves. I wanted to be home with them. I wanted to be taking care of them, but then I would be stuck at the shop. There was times where I'm a people person.
Mm-hmm.
I am a people person, but at the same time, I like to say I'm both. I'm a people person, but then I kind of, am a little introverted too.
But very much so.
In my space, right, where I was working, we was in a mall. So it was white cement walls all around me, right? Mm-hmm. So and 7-8 hours out of the day, I would be behind these walls, right?
Oh, it's like a prison in a sense.
I used to call my workspace Cell Block D.
Wow.
I did. Mm-hmm. I used to call it Cell Block D because it just felt like I was so alone. It was just, I'm talking about, it was just a lot. But at the same time, I didn't realize how bad my self-esteem was until I got in that place. I didn't realize how much trauma I had in myself until I got in that place. So that when I say it was so necessary, it was so necessary, and I wouldn't change it, because it definitely was a stepping stone for me to become who I'm, ultimately become, and it forced me into a place of healing that I needed to go in. So yeah, but it was definitely a lot for me. I had a lot of like physical problems. Like I had caused a tailbone injury on myself just from standing. My shoulder, the back of my neck was like messed up. While I was in there, I had a miscarriage. It was a lot of stuff. I ended up getting vertigo. No problem. Thank you. I ended up getting vertigo. It was a lot of stuff. It was a lot of stuff. But I mean,
excuse me.
The miscarriage, everything happens for a reason, because if I had not had the miscarriage, the third love of my life would not be here, which is Mario. So
that's where I was going to go.
Don't talk about him.
Yeah.
Y'all know, man. Hey, Mario, man. Y'all go subscribe to his channel.
Yes, for sure.
Can you explain, or not explain, but talk about Mario and his YouTube channel, Hey Mario?
Yes.
And the decision to allow him to be a YouTuber.
Yes. So Mario loves YouTube. Okay. That's all he watches majority of the day. He loves YouTube. He just we have to monitor the things that he watches, because although he watches family channels, everybody's family doesn't really teach their kids what you want to teach them. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So but in him watching YouTube, he Mario has always had a personality. And he said that he wanted to have a YouTube channel. But I was just like, at the time I was kind of building Marcella's way, and I was just like, I don't know how the heck. So me and my husband talked about it, and we was like, collectively as a family, we are going to come together and we are going to make a channel for Mario, and each of us are going to have a little part of it.
That's awesome.
It didn't end up being like that.
It didn't work like that.
I ended up being the filmer, the editor, the Instagram person, the TikTok person. I didn't
know he had Instagram and TikTok too. I just knew about the YouTube.
Yes, he has TikTok and he has Instagram, and so he ended up building Marcella's way and doing Hey Mario at the same time at that time by myself was just too much. So I ended up kind of putting his channel on hold. And then when I was coming into this year, I realized whether I was filming Mario or not, he was filming himself.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yes, but the problem is I can't use none of the footage because half of the time he is in underwear.
Oh, yeah.
That was a perfect outfit for him.
That outfit the other day with the mismatched shoes, that picture that I was rolling.
Let me tell you. And I'm talking about, I put this on everything. I looked over there at him and I was like, what are you doing? But he,
swag on him though. He got that swagger.
Yes, he is definitely a personality. And outside of that, I think he's probably one of the sweetest kids I've ever met in my life. I've never met a kid as sweet as he is. He, like, all day long, all he say is, "Mommy, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm okay." He like, "I'm just checking on you." And then I said, "Thank you, Mario." And he like, "You the best mommy ever." All day. This is all. This is all. Like, I mean, when I say, he is just a gift. Yeah. He is. So
he's a star. He's definitely gonna be I can see him on TV. I can actually see him,
Yes.
acting
Yes.
out, playing different roles. He's
Yes.
He's funny, man.
He is. Did you guys see his basketball video?
I caught a glimpse of it.
I watched it. I watched it. That's why I keep looking down, because I'm trying to find it to put it in the chat.
Yeah.
He good though with that. He got that shot, that big hoop. I was like, what the hell, little dude?
You know what I'm saying? It's right. And he got lucky. He got lucky with that little hoop. I mean, with the big hoop, because I had it at full height. And I was literally like, his dad was like, you ain't gonna bring the height down, the hoop down? No, he not. If he can make the big shot, he can make any shot. But then his dad ended up cheating for him and bringing it down. Look up Hey Mario Magic Ball and it'll come up.
Hey Mario Magic Ball, okay.
Yeah.
So his channel name is Hey Mario, right?
Hey Mario. Mm-hmm. Hey
Mario, yep, I'll put that in there. Y'all, sorry about the comments. So, we got bots or people that ain't got nothing better to do with their time.
That's just weird. Let me see.
Yeah, he's very talented. Man, that big personality. I'm telling you, he's gonna be in the showbiz for sure.
She's she reporting. I just posted in this chat somewhere the link, and I don't see it. Did I just block myself? Let me look at this.
I reported each comment so they go away. No, it's not up there. It just disappeared. I think when we was trying to get old boy out of here.
That's hella weird, because I just did it again. I don't know. I'm trying to post a link, but it won't let me. That's weird.
So transition from out of being into cakes now into t-shirts, and you saying that it's opened up more opportunities. How did all that, like, you had knowledge of like the business? How did that transform over to the t-shirt industry?
Because I feel like business is business no matter what the product.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes t-shirts don't really sell themselves the way cakes do. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot more competition in t-shirts than with cakes.
Mm-hmm. You gotta hustle.
You definitely gotta hustle. I'm gonna tell you, it, like, finding a good cake person ain't as easy.
Right.
So if you find one, a lot of times people will stick with them. But one thing that I do know is no matter what, customer service will take you a long way.
That's my specialty.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That would definitely take you.
Hey, Barbs, them design. Thank y'all. We appreciate everybody that tapped in. They say it happens to everybody's channel, but it just happens weirdly.
It happened to my channel. I had somebody coming in there doing racial slurs and everything.
Yeah, that's what they just did right here. The Nazi Holocaust genocide, Hitler, Nazi. The fuck that is. So that's the link to Hey Mario, man. Y'all go check him out. Little dude, he got a lot of character, man.
Yeah, he definitely does.
He gonna do his thing, and he know how to play basketball.
And look, but this the crazy thing. So if you looked at his 4-year-old interview, right? This guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you looked at his 4-year-old interview.
Yeah.
He says, I asked him, what's your favorite sports? And he's like, I like basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I like, what did he say? Tennis. He said, I like something, man. He talking about, and I like tetherball.
Yeah. At the end,
yeah. You ain't never even played tetherball before.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
He got on YouTube. He knows something about.
Yeah, he didn't seen it. He ain't never played it. He told me some tetherball.
I loved tetherball when I was a kid. I was told I just hit the ball around the pole. I used to love that game when I was young, man.
Just that guy, I said, but he actually is really good at soccer. He's good at soccer, and we have exposed him to tennis, so he does know how to play tennis a little bit, and he does play ping pong with his brother. But the reason why he's so good at basketball is because my 15-year-old is really good at basketball.
Yeah.
And so I'm talking about he literally has no chill with Mario. I'm talking about he is dunking on him. He fouling him hard. He is check up. I'm talking about he is playing him like he is an adult.
Yeah.
So Mario is extremely he understands the game, and to him, he's had a lot of practice because my 15-year-old got an over-the-door basketball, which for Mario is pretty high.
Yeah.
And when he learned how to shoot the over-the-door basketball, the one outside wasn't that far from it.
Right. So yeah, he was hitting them shots. I was like, look at him.
Yeah.
That he gonna do it behind the back.
8 foot for a door frame, 10 foot for a basketball frame. So
he talking about some windmill.
The windmill.
I see you got the windmill.
Windmill.
Yeah, he talking about. He said you do it like this.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, he's a character, man. I think he gonna go far. You keep that going, man. Like people gonna catch on to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Marcella, I do gotta ask you a question. We went through this phase probably about 6 months ago where we had to switch up our names and doing rebranding and just trying to figure out, a lane that was solely our lane. And I noticed that you've been recently going through that. Could you explain to us a little bit about that change and what's going on?
Well, I ended up deciding to not change it. What I ended up doing was I just changed the URL. I mean the URL. The URL, I changed it from Many Tings Customs and Prints to Many Tings Prints. And that was a listen. Their website has been a thing because my DTF printer went down.
Oh yeah.
And my website was on the back of the printer. It was on the back of my DTF prints.
Wow.
So at a point I was just like, man, forget this. But today I went to my website because people were still coming to the website.
Yeah.
And I just was like, man, I got to give them something to look at. I have to give them something. I have other things to offer. So I went back to the website and I did a lot of changes to it today, and it looks really good over there. I'm actually very happy. And there's no DTF prints up there at all.
So what's the website again?
ManyTingsPrints.com.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Yep. And then so yeah, I ended up keeping things, the same on that front. And I just was like, you know what? It's so much easier to change the URL and keep everything else the same than dismantling everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's hard. That is hard. That's almost like getting a divorce.
Yeah.
It's very
having to change your name and change this and change. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
So what was the how did you change your URL?
I bought Many Tings Prints.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I bought it. And
that's with the S, right? I'm trying to
Z. With a Z, right?
Many Tings with a Z, Prints with an S.
But is it Mini, M-I-N-I or M-A-N-I?
M-I-N-I, M-I-N-I, Tings, T-I-N-G-Z, and prints. And that's funny because it's another thing about Mario. Mario can't say things. He only can say things.
Oh yeah.
So I said, you know what? I'm gonna say many things is because of you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
thank you.
I'll try to spell that right. Hopefully, I got that right. MINITI.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
So you also got another YouTube channel though, Marcella's World, right?
Marcella's World, yes. And that was one thing that I was conscious of, trying to stay with MW. Yeah, because I'm actively building MW fam, which is my following, my supporters, and so I wanted MW fam to just grow.
Right.
And so MW fam can grow through Marcella's World, but Marcella's World is more about me, more about my journey, more about me helping people to discover this self-love thing, like I'm actively learning to discover. It's not just about self-love though, it's just more about self-love, entrepreneurship, more lifestyle. So like tomorrow I'll be dropping a video on it's a thing that I do that I help keep my life and my home organized, called Fly Lady. And so basically I'm introducing the people on that channel to Fly Lady and Sweepy, which helps you to organize your life. And I feel like by not being able to organize your life, or not being able to stay organized with the things that you have to do, that brings in a lot of guilt. That pulls away from self-love.
Right.
So all of these things tie in together. So, but yeah, I feel like Marcella's World is more broad. You'll kind of get to know me better over there. Me as a person, you know, how I live my life. Marcella's Way is very much so the teacher side of me. Marcella's World is the me side of me. Mixed with some teacher.
See, I'm thinking about doing something like that because of my leg and just being an amputee now. This is a whole different lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about like starting up something like that, and I'm kind of glad we had you and you just mentioned that.
Yeah.
I need to get that going.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely is it ain't nothing to it but to do it type deal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I mean, definitely I'm excited about the things that's to come with Marcella's World. One thing about building YouTube though, you have to do something without the expectation of a result right away. So
that's definitely true.
Yeah. So you definitely have to, when you posting, you ain't posting because you want to put some ads up or get more ads. You ain't posting because you're trying to build money. You posting because you posting.
Right.
So yeah. As of right now, Marcella's World and Hey Mario, they are both on that level where we at the ground floor with it. It's about being consistent. I told myself, I put on my vision board for this year, consistency is the word for the year.
So vision board, man, I'm hearing it more and more. Mike Tees is asking a lot of people about vision boards. Can you talk about yours? And
yes. So this, not this year,
like,
not January.
Yeah.
So this, in the end of December, right in between Christmas and New Year's, I had a vision boarding party for myself and my 3 kids.
Yeah.
Mario feels some type of way because we never got to his board.
Oh.
We're gonna have to get to his. We're gonna have to get to his board because he keeps saying, "You said you was gonna do my board." But so basically, what I did was I sat down and I asked my kids, like my kids, a bunch of questions. So I asked them like, what are 3 words that you want to describe your year? How much money do you want to make this year? how, like, what forms of income do you have or do you want to have to make those, make those goals happen? Take that amount you want to make for the year, divide it up by 12. How much money do you want to make per month? Name 3 purchases that you want to make this year. So I got asked all these questions to them, and then I had printed out a whole bunch of pictures and words and all this stuff. And so basically what they did was they took everything they had wrote down and visually put it on the board.
Wow.
And then so I allowed them to do that, and they put them up in their room. And then I went and did it myself. And when I did it, I made sure that I was try to be as specific as I could. I made sure I put like YouTube stuff up there, the amount of money I want to make per month, what streams of income they would come from. It's crazy because one of the things that was on my vision board, right, was a laptop. So it's just a picture of a laptop, right? And the reason why I needed a laptop is because I do all my editing on my phone. As of right now, I'm operating 3 channels from my phone.
Oh, wow.
Mario's channel requires a lot of editing. Yeah. Because his channel has a lot of overlays. It has a lot of memes and audio and all that stuff. So all that is being saved on my phone, and my storage be tapped out. So I have to just erase a bunch of stuff to be able to just upload one video.
Right.
So I needed a laptop so I could upload on a computer, so I could be able to, cut that headache out. So I put a laptop on my vision board, and one day, probably about 3 or 4 days ago, my husband was like, so because he has a recording studio. So he's like, in Studio B, I got this, it's a Mac.
Okay.
Just a Mac, it's got a big monitor with the whole thing. It's a whole computer.
All in one.
It's a whole, it's not a laptop, but it basically, he was giving it to me for that purpose. He was just like, look, I'm not doing nothing with it. I'll put iMovie on it. So basically, although it didn't manifest as the laptop, it still manifested as a computer.
Right.
I didn't even have to buy it.
Yep.
Right.
So sometimes things don't necessarily manifest as what you might put it down as, but it's the general. So I got it in my office on the wall, and I try to be conscious of every day to look over at it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I need to keep it, fresh in my mind. So, but yeah, vision boards work. Writing things down. That I thought that was Mario walking downstairs. Writing things down definitely works. I'm a big journaler. I'm big on writing down my prayers. I'm just big on I got a prayer box. I'm just big on that type of stuff, Wow. So
that type of stuff works though. Like it works.
Does. It does. It definitely does.
I've done all that, man. The journaling and poetry and quotes and writing all that stuff down, prayers and different stuff.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something though. One of the best forms of manifestation, music. Because it's a chant. You know what I'm saying? You saying it over and over and over. And then sometimes the bad thing about that is you got to think about people who are musicians who say things. And not only do you have your own chant, but you have the world chanting these words.
Yeah. And there's so much negativity.
Yeah. You got to be very careful the words you say and the things you think. Because these people out here talking all this crazy stuff. And then when it manifests, they're looking confused.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I most definitely needed the vision for my way up out of 8th grade, and thank you for sharing that with us. And
Yeah,
you
no
know,
problem.
overall coming on and speaking with us about your past career as the Peach Cake Lady.
Peach Angel Cakes.
Peach Angel, yeah. Y'all know I'm King Butcher. I'll be butchering.
Let me tell you, he's the but look, he the sharpshooter, he the butcher.
Man. But another thing though, I commend you for allowing us into the mental health piece as well.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think that's very important. That's why I try to bring it out when people mention it. I try to talk about it because it's always somebody I need to hear. I need to hear it. Hell, I need some help. I'm crazy. I'm crazy every Tuesday about 9 o'clock. You know. So.
Listen, let me tell you, we all are, whether we choose to discuss it, say it, or not. It's crazy because it is such an important thing. I feel like the theme of my 30s, from 30 to 38, has just been like self-discovery. I mean, my self-esteem grew from learning to love myself. And learning to love myself happened because I learned to know myself first.
Period.
And when you learn to know who you are and you really, really understand, like, you tripping about some stuff you can't even change. Like, you looking at this wrong or you looking at that wrong when you was made to be that way. And it's nothing you can ever do to, you can alter certain things. Like prime example, because I'm a Gemini, we kind of like, they call us the troll of the zodiac. We actually enjoy picking on people in a way. Like, we almost.
My wife is a Gemini. Who are you telling?
Yeah, we actually, if we see somebody in any sort of like we enjoy scaring people. We enjoy like.
Why you gotta scare yourself?
Yeah, we enjoy scaring people. If somebody like fall, we find humor in it. We like to say things and get a laugh out, make people laugh, even if it's not so funny. And so because I know that and I understand that that's a part of me, there's times where I've learned to keep certain jokes in my head.
It took me about 40 years.
Yeah,
to learn
because it be sometimes I'll be it come up and it come out and you just like, oh, I can't take it back.
That's out of the bag now. True.
You don't even understand. I struggle with that every day of my life.
Yeah. But some stuff is just, I'm gonna tell you, if somebody was a fly on the wall on my brain and heard some of the stuff I think when people say stuff, I just be like, man.
For real, and then you realize there are truly stupid people in the world.
Yeah. But you just gotta, it's stupid people in the world, but just speaking for myself, sometimes I can add to the stupidity if I say the things that I really want to say.
For real.
So I mean, but because I know that, and because I know that that's the issue, I have to work on it.
For real, I understand.
I have to work on it. Yeah, so but that comes from knowledge of self. When you know certain things about yourself, like I said, I come from.
Can I add to that though? When you say knowledge of self and stuff, and you know yourself, that also is, you have to acknowledge something is wrong.
You do.
So don't just think because you know that you like peach cobbler cupcakes. Some, you gotta understand yourself. You have to acknowledge that there's an issue, whether it's good or bad. You have to acknowledge that thing about you to understand you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The thing is acknowledging and accepting
definitely
the good, the bad, and the ugly. And certain people but then not only when you have learned to have grace with yourself, it makes you have grace with other people as well. Because then you start to look at other people and you realize, like, he's not just a hateful, evil person on purpose.
No.
He has certain traumas and stuff that he might have to work through, you know, and that's making him bring it towards me, but you don't start taking stuff personally. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's all a process. But I'm gonna tell you, it's a lot of very unself-aware people out here who really, you know, I mean, everything that sometimes I have a person that calls me and talks to me about certain situations, and everything that she says to me, it always goes back to her. But you know that don't have nothing to do with you though. You know that's not your fault. You know, and once you learn to feel a way about yourself, as long as when you learn to start looking at yourself a certain way, you don't let people treat you off. You don't let people talk to you crazy. You know, I wrote a letter one time. I wrote a letter to my younger self before. And I had to promise her, because to be honest with you, you know, I'm walking around with her inside of me. You're walking around with little Seek inside of you. Mike, you walking around with little Mike inside of you. And you got to be careful that you're not allowing people to treat that little person inside of you like crap.
Right. Period.
You get what I'm saying? So you got to protect that little person at all costs.
Yeah. I'm quick to tell somebody, hold on, man, I'm not your child. I'm not your woman. I'm not your whoever the case may be. So quick, so fast.
Listen.
And will tell you, I'll be like, somebody will be getting on my nerves, and I'll get to that point where I'll be like, I have to say something. And then she'll be like, oh, shit, because when I have to say something, that's when I might get in trouble.
But that's the thing. You have to defend that little person inside of you at all costs. And my little person inside been through hell. Been through hell. And she don't deserve to be mistreated. But at the same time, you got people out here who want to pounce all over her.
Period. And those people, like you say, that's a reflection of them. It ain't you. It's a reflection of them.
Yeah, but just because you got trauma inside of you and your little person inside of you want to lash out at my little one, I'm not about to let it happen. So I try to keep myself from around people who take me to certain places and make me, you know.
That's good. That's good for you. That's good mental health.
Yeah.
That was a good explanation, a good overall everything. Like, that was definitely that segment right there really just touched me. So
yeah, I'm gonna tell you, it's a fact. You gotta, I mean, but it's all a process. Again, it go back to one thing can't nobody tell me is that it's some people walking around not even acknowledging their trauma, and then there's some people walking around using the trauma as a crutch.
Yeah. So many. It's facts, man.
Yeah. You gotta figure out. I tell my daughter all the time. I said, yeah, you've been through stuff, but once you get grown, nobody cares.
Period.
Nobody cares. That's your baggage to deal with.
Yep.
You better learn how to deal with it.
You better because I'm gonna tell you, when you show your hand, people gonna use it to their advantage. You feel some type of way about this, and these sadistic people around here or in this world will that hurt. Let me make sure I find the pointiest thing to poke that thing with.
So true. It's sad, but that's so true.
It's the truth. And I keep, when I tell my kids, I keep it 100. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Yep.
Real shit. But I think it's very important that you have to acknowledge that hurt, that trauma, that pain, because it leads to generations, and
It does.
I've acknowledged it myself, and like I've said this a couple shows ago. Circumstance allowed me or made me not to be the man or the father that I wanted to be. I'm glad I got this talk because I think I will start this other little journey of mine, but let people into my life. Like I've been through a lot in the last 20 years, more than y'all even know. And but like that circumstance, my lifestyle circumstance allowed me not to be the man that I should have been, allowed me to not be the father that I should have been. And even now it's still, even though I understand myself, I'm more open to who I am, what I am, and the way I am. It's still to this day, it's still I'm hardened. A part of me is hardened that, and it doesn't allow me to let go.
You have to realize though that you didn't chose your children; you were chosen for your children.
I know.
And who you are and all your flaws was what was chosen for them. Their life was meant to be what it is before they was ever born. So you walking around with guilt that the guilt that you have could never be changed because it is what it is. It was supposed to be that way.
Right.
And you, so the person, and I'm sure you have to forgive yourself. Yep. That's it. Once you forgive yourself, then you accept, okay, you know what? You apologize to your children or tell them that you weren't there for them, you weren't what they needed, and you ask for forgiveness for that. If they accept it, fine. If they don't, you move on with life because guess what? You've forgiven yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of the times you manifest so much stuff inside of the guilt that's inside of yourself.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Eve. Yeah, that's definitely true. It's definitely true.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I'm a Capricorn, so I'm resilient. Like once I start, I don't know. I hold back on like talking a lot of personal stuff. I like now it's starting to come out, but there's a lot more stuff that I've been through. It's a lot more stuff that I should talk about because of that self-healing. I just realized about 3 or 4 days ago, 5 days ago, maybe, that I've been depressed for a while, and it's because of me getting this amputation, like, and get my leg amputated and just walking, and then I'm literally walking to get this COVID shot, and then a week later I don't have a leg because of it. Like it's a hard fucking pill to swallow.
Yeah, but you know, one thing about that, you might have to consider forgiving everything involved. You get what I'm saying? Once you like add a level of forgiveness, sometimes we leave out elements which block the healing. You get what I'm saying? Right. Anything that you feel a way about, I'm gonna tell you, my grandma had passed away, right? And to keep it 100, she was a huge factor in my low self-esteem. She's gone. How do you get closure from a person who ain't here? You get what I'm saying? So what I did was one day I sat in my bathroom, I opened my window, I closed the door, and I literally spoke to her, talked like literally cried and spoke out loud because I feel like, just like you say, people tell, will say things like, my family is always with me, their soul is with me, their spirit is with us, just like their spirit is with us, every day. If I'm speaking to my grandma, her spirit hear my pain.
Yeah, period.
And even if it don't hear my pain, I got it out. I said what I needed to say. And that was a huge factor in me getting better self-esteem, was to tell her, you hurt me. You hurt me. And, and I said it and I got it out. And I'm gonna tell you, that type of stuff is extremely powerful for you to say. That hurt, that hurt, and then that begins to like loosen it up. Because sometimes we built all the way to the top. I'm talking about it's so much pain and anxiety built up to here, you can't even breathe properly.
Yeah, and then this woman trying to make me cry on TV. Like I'm over here, like I'm really like, damn, I want to let go. I feel like putting out my camera so y'all don't see them tears. Like thank you, Eve. Like I don't.
Yes, big hugs.
To hear that. She said, I know it's hard to embrace, but please understand, so many people was worried about you, praying for you, and missing you.
And missing you, yo.
Yeah,
yes, absolutely. But I'm gonna tell you, all of that. Once this cycle, this 20-year cycle is over, because obviously God is trying to teach you something.
Yeah.
Once this 20-year cycle is over, or however long the cycle is supposed to go, and you've learned whatever it is you were supposed to learn, I'm telling you, it's about to be through the roof.
Yeah.
It's about to be through the roof, because I'm telling you, it's, I'm even in my own life, I'm coming to grips like, okay, it's something I'm supposed to be learning here. And that's what the holdup is. So let me go ahead and learn and stop being hard-headed and see what it is that need to be seen. But, you never know. It could be a lesson right around the corner.
Yeah. From a grown man or a woman or a baby, you never know where it's coming from.
You never know.
Real talk. Like, I understand it. Like, it's just, I don't know. Someday, I don't know. I'm just like, for me, honestly, I was blessed with an amazing wife. My wife is like, she, most people go 100, she go 200 at all times. Like, it's no, without her, I don't know where the hell I would be, especially like after this amputation. If I didn't have my wife, like, and so, like, I'm gonna talk about that for a second. I'm still in the show for a second because I want to cry, but so, like, I've said this before, but when I was in the hospital, like, there was no visitors. I was in the hospital for 14 days. My wife was only not there in that hospital with me the first day. She called them people so damn much every hour. How's my husband? Every single, like, literally every hour. They was like, we just gonna go on and let her in.
Yes.
And she was there with me every single day. Like, and imagine like me going through this and not having her, having nobody in the room. I'd be messed up right now. Like,
Yeah.
She
was a gift.
Yes,
yeah, she definitely is, man.
Yep.
Definitely is. He said, as long as you got your mind and your heart, you good, fam. That means there's more time to learn from you, gain your wisdom, and switch you over to team cricket. Listen, y'all was gonna cry. I was gonna cry.
Yeah, you were a prop. You got that in there.
Look. I was really like, I'm like, all this late. Oh, and then you're gonna say team cricket. Forget you, E.
Hey, y'all. This show has been sponsored by Vinyl Supply Unlimited. Make sure y'all head over to Vinyl Supply Unlimited. Are you looking for a better version of Oracal? Right here, with a 24-inch roll of the Metamark, 5 yards right now. Big long, but this is a premium peel. And before I had my drop that I have here, I had all types of decals up. It's a smoother cut. It definitely stands the test of time. I've had firefighters come back and show me their helmets in which I've had used the same Metamark right here. Once again, that's Vinyl Supply Unlimited. At the checkout, use Squad Creatives 10 for 10% off your entire order.
And next show, we will have Vinyl Supply Unlimited affiliate links in the description. So if you use that, help the channel, help the people, help us get some therapy in this joint, but shout out to Vinyl Supply Unlimited, man. That man believes in us. He believed in us. He believes in us. And appreciate you, Jason, man. and that's why I decided to put him on there. So everybody, we never forget. Right there, you see it on the screen. VinylSupplyUnlimited.com.
Right.
So where all can we find you at, Marcella? I know where to find you at.
But listen, look at this lady, man. Look at this lady, man.
Look at this lady. Look. She went from a sister to look at this lady. This show is partly sponsored by Steve Chicken Thighs. You right. Just saying, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
Most definitely.
I see my guy James Patton in here. Hey
Yeah,
James,
man.
I ain't seen you around. I'm
No,
happy to see
James,
my guy in the building.
Yeah, James, man, he been a ghost, man.
Look, when I say
James, man.
top three supporters of Marcella's Way, not just Marcella's Way, everything Marcella does. Top 3. Him in itself is a blessing to my life for sure, because it's hard to find people who really ride for you like that. So I appreciate that. Top 3. And Kim too. She up there in that top.
I hope I'm in there, man. Let me
tell you. Listen, y'all are definitely in the top 5, 4, and 5.
That song I pray.
But yeah, so the places you guys can. I feel like I hear my.
That's that mom look. That's why I keep laughing. I'm like, that's that mom look.
Because I'm concerned. Is that Mario coming down the stairs? But his little feet is a little bit lighter. But
he taking the top spot for the record.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So you can find me manythingsprints.com. There I have one-on-one coaching sessions, sublimation prints, all of that. I have TikTok, Marcella's Way, Instagram, Marcella's Way. I have Marcella's World on YouTube, and I have MW Print Shop on Etsy.
Look, she getting all the chicken.
Everywhere. She's accessible. You can find her. Go support. Make sure once y'all get off here, y'all head over to Marcella's World and subscribe.
Yes, please. We are getting them. We're trying to get them numbers up so we can get these people this word.
Hey. And Hey Mario as well. Y'all head over to Hey Mario and subscribe.
Hey Mario.
That little dude is comedy, man. Y'all go check him out, man.
Yes, definitely for sure. He is definitely one for the books. That's for sure.
That's my little guy right there, man. He's dope, man.
It was an honor having you on, Marcella.
Thank you so much.
And speaking with us, always a pleasure to have you on. And anytime you ready to have us back, we ready.
Yes.
We ready.
Yes. Look, let me tell you, only y'all two right here can have me anywhere talking about cakes.
I'm so glad, but I'm still mad at you because I need me a peach cobbler cupcake.
He let it go.
Listen,
I promise to you.
That was an hour and 43 minutes ago. I'm still thinking about it.
Listen, if I promise you, if I can figure out a way, or if I could find a way to send you that peach cobbler cupcake, I definitely would. Let me tell you.
He just bit into it.
Eric,
I got all the stuff on my lips and everything right now.
Oh Lord,
that's funny.
Yeah,
I want to read that to you. The baby's booty said, "For reals though, this episode was awesome. Thank you for the inspiration, Marcella. Yeah, definitely. It's always a good time."
No problem. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for watching. I appreciate everybody. Y'all could have been doing anything else. Y'all could have been anywhere else. And I appreciate y'all for taking time out to support my guys and check out and see what I'm talking about. Y'all know, I ain't said nothing about no cake no time. The fact it was kind of therapeutic to let that out.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I say, I love how it turned into reality. Like you didn't hold back. You told us like you were miserable
Very
in that
transparent,
field.
like Dem
Yeah.
said. Very
Yeah,
transparent with that journey.
definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I try to be, although I am definitely an onion of sorts. But if we gonna be here,
Yeah,
we might as well.
yeah, for sure.
True.
But really, Marcella, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for every time. It's you a show favorite. You know, we rock with Marcella real tough.
Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all.
Shout out to everybody that came out tonight and
yeah, appreciate you, baby. The baby's booty, Eve. Thank you. All BS aside, like appreciate everything you said. It touched my whole heart, you know, and appreciate that. Appreciate everybody out here.
Oh, wait a minute. So I want to ask a quick question before we go off.
Mm-hmm.
You guys be working double time to keep them tears in. Let me tell you something. Y'all, men, ladies in the comment section, I need y'all to put crying face emoji if you ever see a man try not to cry and how ridiculous they look trying to cry.
Damn, Kim didn't waste no time. How'd you do? He popped it in before it got out your mouth. Look, I'm a thug. Thugs don't cry.
Let me tell you, every time I'll be like, boy, y'all about to bust a blood vessel to not cry.
Nah, it's not easy. There's certain things like I can think about that where I just bust up, but like it's just hard. Crying is not an easy thing.
And you know, I think it's a society thing. Society has made it so men are so uncomfortable to cry, and it is so literally like healing for your soul.
It is.
And that is the reason why so many men walking around about to kill somebody is because they built up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, it's so therapeutic. And then they feel like they have to do it by themselves, which causes depression from having to let that type of pain out by yourself.
Right.
Preaching.
Okay.
Right.
Yep. But look, it's about my son about to get ready to go in here. So y'all about to hear dogs galore in a minute.
All right.
Cool. Thank
you again. Thank you for coming out. We will be back Saturday with Straight Out of Soul Food.
Straight Out of Soul Food.
Something different. This brother out here where I live, man, he got a great story on how he started his business and different stuff. So y'all tap in Saturday for that.
Yeah.
And we got a good lineup. We got a nice lineup lined up. So for the rest of this month, and we're gonna keep grinding. You know, if there's one or none, we're gonna do it. So appreciate y'all coming out. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you.
Peace.
See y'all.